And she's in charge of getting this room together for the secretary's meeting with the foreign ministers. And right now they're preparing for the Japanese foreign minister meeting. You can see the Japanese and American flags, and everything is all put together. The minister will be sitting right here, and then you can see that Secretary Clinton and her team will be sitting there. Linda, tell me a little bit about what goes into getting just this room together for the meeting.
So I prepared the tent cards, and we go by the protocol precedence of the visitor. So when they come there, we'll check it. So if they want to change their people around, that's fine. And then our people put together the participants on our side.
And then the interpreter, obviously, will be next to the
depending
secretary.
on what the bilateral is, whether we have an interpreter or not. But
how many of these are you going to put together this week?
I haven't seen the full list. I'm afraid it'll probably be a lot.
But everything, I mean, it looks all kind of organized and everything and perfect, but a lot of attention and detail goes into, I would assume, just getting it just right.
Yes, I mean, there's a protocol procedure that's set up. I first started working with Secretary Baker, and they came with a style that they had. So these are, they call them Baker blocks.
This is a Baker block right here?
Baker block. With the format, with how he liked to have the meetings, and he took it from the White House, Treasury, to State Department, and we've used them ever since. Primarily, it's probably just the foreign minister and the secretary speaking.
Right.
But she is introduced to every person before they come in and sit down, and then PA will bring the press for a camera spray at the
We're going to come up. We're going to come up and see it in action.
Yes.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Linda.
So everybody is getting ready now to set up for the bilat to go upstairs. It's a pool, and we have the networks. Cami from CBS is doing the pool. Each of the networks take a day, and Cami has been fearlessly going into all the bilats all day, and lots of Japanese press and here for the Japanese bilat, and our wires colleagues, Lachlan and Brad over there. So this is the famous 24M. This is the State Department press office. Basically, the whole press office comes and sets up here. And this is Gladys Boggs, who for decades has been organizing UNGA. And tell us how much fun it is.
It's fun. It's lots of fun.
Well, no, seriously, how much work is put into doing press for these events?
Well, we start in June, start prepping and start having meetings to start deciding about the staffing that will be coming up, working with other bureaus about what we need and how we can do it. And then we continue to have meetings throughout and working with senior level staff about the meetings for the secretary and coming up here 2 weeks in advance to do walkthroughs, to go to different sites and locations that she may be going to do events.
And so she does a lot more events than many, although there are a lot. UNGA is always a lot of events.
Yes.
Basically from morning to night, and you're at all of them.
Yes. Yes.
And this is just basically all of the press officers setting up here, getting all of the transcripts out. You can see over here that they put all of the transcripts out. Here's a copy of the schedule right here, and then these are the backgrounders that the State Department puts out. They'll have a briefing schedule here, and every time the secretary says something, there's the transcript. This is the hold, the elevator on the 34th floor where everyone waits to go into the bilat. Sometimes you can hold for, I don't know, I think I've held for an hour at some point.
Did most of the writing so far, so.
Oh, careful.
I'm connected.
Gets pretty crazy. Japanese press, they'll go crazy. That is a great picture. It's my husband. I do know him. Where was this taken? That's what I thought. I thought I noticed the
The fireplace is in the Arkansas governor's office. I could recognize that. Well, thank you for oh, for me. I will take it to my husband.
Madam
But you have
Secretary,
to sign it, Minister. You have to sign it.
Madam Secretary, can I ask you how things are going on the Middle East?
Well, we are engaged in extremely intensive, ongoing diplomacy.
Do you sense any wiggle room? Do you think that you can, in this week of meetings, in this week of diplomacy, get him to see it your way and perhaps maybe soften his stance even?
And at least I think it's early in the week. A lot of people are not even here yet. There's been an enormous number of meetings by many different parties talking to each other. And I want to be fully informed about all of those conversations. But I think that everyone knows our position. And obviously our goal is a two-state solution, and that's what we're going to keep working for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was actually a real interesting BiLab because the secretary answered a question, which she never does, but because she wants to send a message to the Palestinians, Cami knew that she could just get her on that and obviously had a lot to say because usually she just thanks us and get out.
And the UNGA continues, of course, into next week. We'll have more on that. And speaking of the upcoming week,